What's going on, everybody? We're going to jump into Pionex. Like promised, we have a great deal for you guys, setting you guys up, doing some research beforehand, activating these trading bots, and helping you guys navigate this new product that I'm interested in introducing to you. So Pionex, what is this? This is an exchange built for you for trading bots. This is customizable for bots so that you can run bots in the background, make passive income, have something trading for you nonstop. And I'm really interested in introducing this to you guys and the community. We have an amazing sign up. We've talked to Grok extensively about this product. We have a whole bunch of points for you guys, a whole bunch of lessons for you guys. We're going to go over setting up a bot, how I do it, what I would do, how I make sure that, we're managing risk and also allowing this thing to do its job, and how to use a grid bot. So let's jump into this and get you guys set up. So what is a grid bot? What are we looking to do? First and foremost, we're going to look to set up a highly liquid, stable cryptocurrency. We're talking ETH, we're talking Bitcoin, we're talking Solana, we're talking something that has been around, that has some good data. We're not just going to go and ape into something that doesn't have data or doesn't have something that we can define. Really, a sideways market is what we're going to be looking for. So we're going to be looking for something like Solana. So today we're going to set up a Solana grid bot and how we would look to take advantage of it, because the advantage of setting up a grid bot is basically sideways action. We want to buy low and sell high. Now, the way these things work is, you will see, and we'll get into that, is you will have green lines and you will have red lines above, okay? So you will have green lines and you will have red lines to buy and sell. And as you move into either way, where you will have price action here, okay, here's your price action. As you move down, they will flip red. And as you move up, they will flip greens. That means you're buying and selling throughout your grid, okay? So this is very important to note. So let's go into Solana. And we're going to use TradingView and our trading skills, because we are still traders and we want to automate this. But we also want to use the skills that we have at hand to make the most profits possible. So let's go over and let's take a look at a grid bot. So here's Pionex. It is set up for you to become a bot trader. You can upload bots. There's spot, there's futures, there's ways to upload money. It's very easy to use, and this is why we're recommending it, okay? So we're going to go over to futures because we are futures trader, and we're going to want to go to futures bot. Now, if you don't know how to upload money and all that stuff, you're going to have to go through here, buy crypto, and transfer money over, or you can transfer money over into your wallet. Now, a lot of you guys know, and I've shown you guys on the live streams, that we have 4 of these running on Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and XRP, and we are making quite nice profits in the background here, okay? So it shows you that we are up. We had a $5,000 account. We are currently up $1,400 passively. Now we're going to show you how to set one of these up, and we're obviously going to go over here to the top left and select Solana. Now I'm going to show you how to set up a futures grid bot. Now there are other bots here, which is important to note, okay? Especially I would like for you guys to see on the spot trading bots over here. We have grid trading bots as well. We have a DCA bot here, which is quite interesting. Maybe we come out with a video like that on this bot here. And I'm going to have a play with these as we get more into this product. For me, I'm just interested in showing you the futures bot and what we're looking for. So I talked to Grok, right? And I'm like, Grok, what are we going to look for here, right? How are we going to set this up so that we can make money? And clearly it is working with these bots down below here. But let's see what Grok has to say about these bots, because it's very important, right? So best crypto assets for Pionex bot. Now, I've been grilling Grok. I wanted to get the best information out of him. So he says Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, BUSD, right? So high volatility, good experienced traders, a little bit riskier with Solana, right? Balanced liquidity. Remember, we're talking about volatility and liquidity, but a stable price, right? That moves up and down, and we can look to take advantage of a sideways market, right? So what are the key points about Pionex grid bots, right? So here we have spot grid bots, like we showed you, the futures grid bot, which allows us to use a little, and I mean it, a little bit of leverage, 5x maximum in my opinion, right? Where we can take advantage and compound our money a little bit with the skills that we have as traders, right? And they have a reversal grid, infinity grid. There's a lot to go over here. And I'm going to just go over the futures one right now to set you guys up, okay? So this has low fees. It's an exchange that's meant for these bots, which is very important, right? And we must be using something, we want to use something that's a trusted product that has proven itself over time. You guys know I'm very much a stickler about things being very transparent and key with our trading community. So what's the key here? Okay, so we want to define a range, right? So if we're looking at Solana, and we have many ways of defining a range, but we can use a fixed range volume profile tool. We can use many of those tools to kind of define our range and where we're looking to. So we can see that there is, some support here, some resistance here, and all-time highs here, right? So we know where we can divide this into a nice range, point of control here. And you guys know me, I love a good support and resistance line, and this is going to pay into effect on how we set up our bot, okay? Depending on what you're looking for and how we're looking to take advantage of price action. Now, what are the risks? Because I need you guys to know the risks, right? The risks is that if we're typically longing, which I only want you guys to be setting up longs right now because we're in a bull market, right? We're typically looking to buy low and sell high. So this thing will allow us to buy on the way down and take profits on the way up. Now, we are going to set a stop loss, right, to maximize our risk management. That is key here, is because if for some reason we get a major news event and we dump really badly, this is the biggest risk with a grid trading bot, is that you can automatically just go all the way down and get liquidated. We do not want that happening to you guys. We want to protect you guys as much as possible. However, we do want to set, take profits along the way, and then a final take profit, which I'm going to show you how to do, just so that as we drop, right, we want it to be buying, and then as it's coming up, we want it to be selling, but we don't want it to run away from our grid and then just go into the abyss, okay? And we don't want it to fall and liquidate us into the abyss, okay? So we want to define the range, right? And then we want to set our parameters and our stop losses and take profit just like we would with a regular trade setup, mostly looking at this thing on a daily time frame so we can truly define our range. So let's go over to the bot and take a look of that. Okay, so let's go over here. We're on Solana Futures Trading Bot, and you go over to the right-hand side here, and it says Futures Grid Bot. Okay, so we've selected that one here. We'll go back, show you again, just so that you know the Futures Bot, create, okay? And we are in the Customize section here. So let's go on to the daily, which we have here. And we said that we want to buy low and sell high, right? So where are we looking to sell? Okay, this is what I want us to answer, right? We're probably looking to get up to all-time highs. So looking up here, we're looking at 250, 260. Let's copy that price and let's paste that in here. Boom. Okay, the lowest price. So where's the bottom of the range? 126. Let's give it a little bit of wiggle room. So let's go to 110, right? And let's set that up there. Boom. Now, grid quantity is going to be how many bars are within this range that are going to buy and sell. Okay, this is important. A lot of people go with 50, 100, 200. This is how many times it's going to buy and sell on the way up. So let's just put in 200 because this is actually quite a big range. Okay, and you can see how thick that is. Maybe you don't want to have that many orders, right? So let's go 100, which is a nice even number. And you can see here, these are all levels of buying and selling. Maybe I want to bring it up a little bit here. So let's go to 126 because we do have those predefined levels. Now you can make these as tight as you want, but if you think this low right here is going to hold, I would keep it there, right? Then knowing that you think this low is going to hold, right? Then I'm going to copy the price below that low and I'm going to go down into here on the right-hand side. Okay, very, very important. I'm going to go down over here on the right-hand side. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do stop loss. I'm going to click stop loss, and I'm going to enter the stop loss for that, okay? So let's go back to here. We are setting this up so we have low and high. Let's go back to our chart here. So what are we going to do? I'm going to set alerts, okay? I'm going to set an alert here just above that low. So I'm warned if we are getting close to that area here, because I don't want to manage this all the time, but I don't want to be naive to the fact that we can go elsewhere, right? And then the 250 mark here, okay? And then I'm going to set alerts in kind of in the middle. So price is here. I'm just going to set one above this high here, right? Because I can adjust these grids along the way, which is very important, okay? Very important. And I'm going to set maybe one up here, right? Because I want to know where this thing is at and how it's behaving. So alerts are going to really help you kind of manage this position without fully managing this position. Okay, let's go back over to our Pionex here and let's set this up. So you know me, I'm gonna put we got $500 in here. Okay, so I'm gonna put 250 on here. Now it doesn't mean we're putting exactly $250 on here. What it means is that we're going to get in here, and depending on how much room to the downside, it's going to allocate that accordingly, right? So if I look here, you can see actual investment after leverage, right? And I'm only going 3x leverage here. I would say 5 is the max, okay? I'm going to go 3 here just to be on the safe side, okay? Very important. You don't need to go extra leverage. This is passive income, right? We don't want to be worrying about this. That is critical when setting this thing up, okay? So let's go into here. Advanced closed here, so very easy, $250, so half of that, right? We have our parameters within here. Now you can adjust these accordingly. You can also adjust your grids accordingly, right? Depending on what you want to do. Obviously long, short, or neutral. We want to don't short in a bull market, right? So we're looking for this thing to drop and to buy as it's coming down. Now what's cool about this is that as we drop in here, these green lines will flip to red. Okay, so you'll hit bang, take or enter, 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 and it'll flip red. It'll flip red. It'll flip red. Right, and as you're going up, it'll flip green. It'll flip green. It'll flip green. Okay, so that's why the quantity of your grids, maybe we want them more spread out here, right? So that you're buying and selling accordingly. Okay, so I just changed that to 75. Maybe I want to average down a little bit slower, right? And take profit on the way up a little bit slower as well, okay? And then you go into here, and then you can set your take profits and your stop loss. So like I said before, we want to go below here, copy that price, stop loss. You want to set that price over here. That's going to be critical, okay? And then you want to go to the top here. Remember, we said we don't want this thing to just run off to the races and not be buying and selling, right? And we do have those beautiful parameters and those alerts to help us manage the position, okay? And I've done this with all of my bots down below as well, so that it's all set up in there. So that's set up there as well, and that's something that I do stress is like you should always be managing your risk. You should always be looking to possibly take your big profits as it goes. So chop it in here. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go create. Okay, you can get this thing here. So as I said, right? So distribution of investment, because we're not putting all of our $250 in right now. It'll tell you right here. So you're putting actually $132 in, and then you're leaving $117 to average in to the downside. So if price drops, which we want price to drop, so it buys, and then we want it to continue upwards, so it sells. Okay, so that's exactly how I would set it up. Just hit OK here, and bada boom, bada bing, you have your setup, and we'll see how that one performs. Now, I'm going to have these bots down below in here, the ETH one, the BTC one, okay? I'm going to have them down below, and you can see how they're working, right? Over time, placed transactions, when they're buying, what the parameters are, right? How it's working for me over time, right? It's very important to be able to see that. You just go into running orders. You can go to Solana right now, right? So it's down a little bit. We got BTC here. You can see how that one's working. Buy low, sell high. Over time is how we want to do it. So that's a very simple way of setting it up. Remember, we want to use TradingView to set those parameters as well, so that we understand what's going on with price action. Now, with all those other trading bots that we have here printing money for us, I'm going to share with you guys those links down below. So I'll share the ETH, the Bitcoin, the DOGE, and the XRP. Remember to use the link that I gave you in the beginning of the video so that you guys can get the discount as well. Let's go back to Grok. So you've seen the setup. We've talked about the risks, right? Poor performance in strong downtrends, slippage in low volume pairs, right? Leverage amplifies losses. Remember, 3x, right? So monitor platform, right? Because the platform is very important. That's why we're using Pionex, right? Start with Bitcoin, test small, right? ETH, Solana, right? Geometric grids, monitor weekly, adjust ranges. Okay, so these are all things that you can do along the way, and we can get into more monitoring and other bots as well as we proceed here, right? Pionex, 0.0% fees, right? Very, very friendly that way, 2FA, right? But I would always recommend starting with Bitcoin and monitoring these things as we go. Okay, so here's the new product, link down below. Hopefully you find this video helpful. If you need anything more, join the Discord, come over and ask some questions. I'd be happy to help you. Take care, much love.